Here are the top 3 reasons why now is the best time to buy. It's the beginning of 2023 and we're surrounded by the most negative headlines that we've seen since 2008. And it reminds me of this great quote from Warren Buffett: be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. And in our world of clickbait headlines, I'm here to shed a little hope and optimism into our world. I'm Alex Saldana, and I help homeowners, buyers, and investors get their questions answered on this channel. And the more likes you give this video, the more times I'm going to take my dogs on a walk. And be sure to stick with me until the end, because I'm going to show you a couple of houses we just closed down for our clients where we saved them literally tens of thousands of dollars. Reason number 1 why now is in fact the best time to buy. The market has dipped down by 10% already, and it is impossible to time the market. And what you're looking at here is a graph that starts at 1975 until today, and we've gone through essentially 6 recessions. One of them was real minor back in 2020 when the pandemic started. However, what you're going to see is all those gray sections there are recessions that we went through, and there's really only one that we had price drops on real estate, and that was back in 2008, which that is what actually caused the market to crash, was the housing bubble, all the bad loans that were given out, and a multitude of reasons we won't go into now. But during the other recessions we had, we were actually just flat. So the fact that we've already dropped down 10%, we might be going into a recession in 2023. Prices are already down from 10% from the peak, which was April of 2022. And so right now you can get some really good deals in comparison to what it was just 6, 9, 12 months ago. And if you are waiting for things to flush, I'm sorry to tell you, but there are too many people on the sidelines with lots of cash who are loaded, who are ready to go if we do take a flush. So I really think for that reason, it's not going to happen. Reason number 2, it's actually costing about 50% less or more cash out of pocket to buy a house today than it did a year ago. Well, how is that possible? Well, look, back in the beginning of 2022, we had multiple offers on most properties. You had to be flush with cash to come to the table. You had to give appraisal guarantees. And the typical offer, let's say on a $500,000 house, looks something like this: a minimum of 20% down. So $100,000 in cash just to be considered in the pool of all the different buyers. You often had to offer anywhere from 5 to 10% over asking price to get the deal done, which also needed to include an appraisal guarantee, which meant if the house didn't appraise at that value, you came out of pocket with that cash. So you might have needed an additional 5% in cash just to make your offer competitive. Then you have your loan costs, which generally average anywhere from 1 to 2% of the purchase price. So there's another 5 to 10 grand. So just to start on a $500,000 house, you were needing roughly $130,000 to $140,000 in cash just to be in the running to buy a house. Now, fast forward here into 2023 and what's been the last 6 months of 2022, you no longer are in multiple offer competing bid scenarios. You can actually get a seller concession to pay for your loan closing costs, and you no longer have to bring 20% down to the table. A 5% conventional loan or even a 3.5% FHA loan, or for crying out loud, a VA loan with 0% down is getting the job done. And so today on that same $500,000 house, which actually you're able to get for more like $450,000 or less here now, you can have 3.5 to 5% down. So anywhere from $17,000 to $25,000 out of pocket for the down payment. No need for an appraisal guarantee. And you can actually ask for a seller concession. I would say 75% of the deals happening right now are including at least a $5,000 to $10,000 seller concession. So it's costing drastically less out of pocket today than it did 12 months ago. Number 3, buyers are in the driver's seat today. There's not nearly as much competition. Each property is sitting on the market for an average of 45 days right now, and we're getting like 2 to 3 showings a week, and it's taking, somewhere around 10 to 12 showings to go under contract for most properties that we're listing. But that puts you in control as the buyer. So you can actually offer below asking price. You can get seller concessions easily. You can have a proper time for an inspection and actually get things like a new roof if it's needed, or a sewer line, or any health or safety items that you deem necessary, where a year ago you had to usually give up your inspection rights. You had to come to the table with an appraisal guarantee and offer your firstborn child just to be in the running to get the house. Not so much today anymore, folks. And sellers are a lot more apt to working with sale contingencies. So if you are that move-up buyer or you're downsizing, you can make an offer today to purchase a home contingent upon the sale of your home, or vice versa. So it leaves the options way more open today than they did a year ago. And if you stuck around this long, I'm just going to remind you that my dogs are still begging me to go out for a walk. And the more likes this video gets, the more walks I'm going to take them out. And now, I told you earlier in this video, I'd show you a couple of properties we've recently closed on for our clients. And I think the numbers are really going to amaze you. So check out this one. This one's in Southeast Aurora, and they listed and were on the market for $379,000. We made an offer and closed at $320,000. That is 15% below their asking price. Now, the second one here is also in Aurora, a bit more north, and they were on the market at $360,000, and we closed at $307,500. That is 14.5% off the list price. Now, is this the norm? Absolutely not. And I'm going to give credit to my partner Keith on these because he's really hustling out there on the buy side. So kudos to him for wrapping these up. And yeah, these properties did need quite a bit of work, and they ended up selling to investors that were going to put the work into them. One, I believe, went to a landlord, and then the other one went to a typical fix and flipper. And both of these neighborhoods, all the comparable sales were well into the 500s for these buyers. Now, if you're wondering what the average income can actually buy you in Denver and the surrounding suburbs, I'm going to invite you to watch this video that comes up that's going to go over what you can actually buy in Denver with the average income. And you might be surprised. It might be a bit more than you think. And until the next time, happy housing.